After the biggest flash crash in Bitcoin history, Larry Fink went on 60 Minutes and he said this.
I did say Bitcoin, because we were talking about Bitcoin then, was the domain of money launderers and thieves. But the markets teach you have to always relook at your assumptions. There is a role for crypto in the same way there's a role for gold. That is, it's an alternative. For those looking to diversify, this is not a bad asset.
Bitcoin crashed $20,000 in a matter of minutes, and Larry Fink, who you could argue is the most powerful man on the planet, is more bullish than ever. Bitcoin has already rebounded, and there's not enough people to dig graves for the shitcoins that were massacred in the great flash crash of October 10th. And he isn't alone. Larry Fink's top assistant, Donald the Orange, is also doubling down. Now with nearly $1 billion in exposure to Bitcoin. Is the trade war back on? Is October canceled, or is Valhalla right around the corner? We got a massive show today. Get those diapers ready, because believe it or not, Bitcoin is ready to rock. That's right, son.
Look, I'm very bullish on the long-term viability of Bitcoin.
I was going to say, did that surprise you?
That surprised me how much that's
Really?
gone up. I mean, look, it is. We're creating now a market that has more liquidity, more transparency, and I'm pleasantly surprised, and I would never have predicted it before we filed it, that we were going to see this type of retail demand.
So you thought you'd do good, but not this good.
I thought, yes. Yes,
well,
definitely.
iBit is your ETF
Yes.
over at iShares.
Yes.
It's about to overtake Grayscale, which was in the business certainly a lot longer. You look at the gains since January 11th when it first came about.
Yes.
Have you ever seen this much inflow this quickly into
iBit is the fastest growing ETF in the history of ETFs.
All right, let's talk about Larry freaking Fink, the $12 trillion man himself. The CEO of BlackRock, the most powerful financial institution on earth, just went on 60 Minutes and told the world he was wrong about Bitcoin. Quote, "There is a role for Bitcoin and crypto the same way there is a role for gold. This is not a bad asset." You heard that right. Not a bad asset. That's right, the same guy who called Bitcoin, quote, for money launderers and thieves is now basically calling it digital gold. And it gets better. Fink straight up admitted his past mistakes. He said markets teach you to rethink your assumptions. Translation, I faded Bitcoin and I was wrong. Larry's getting humble. Now, while your average investor was panic selling during the flash crash, BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, iBit, just broke $90 billion in assets under management, now ranking in the top 20 ETFs in the entire U.S. market. And this interview aired the same day gold hit a $27 trillion market cap and a fresh all-time high. It's interesting, the evolution, because Fink is now echoing Samson Mao's fourth turning logic. Times of chaos, you want real self-sovereign assets. And now the most powerful man in finance just admitted Bitcoin belongs in the same conversation. So when Larry Fink and BlackRock, the literal architects of the legacy system, start praising Bitcoin on national TV, something seismic is happening. Bitcoin just graduated from rebellion to reserve. And right after Larry Fink went full orange-pilled on 60 Minutes, guess who's joining him in the Bitcoin big leagues? That's right, Donald the Orange himself. According to Cointelegraph and Forbes, the president now controls roughly $870 million in Bitcoin exposure, putting him right up there with Michael Saylor, the Winklevi, and Tim Draper. Wait, so let me get this straight. The guy who once tweeted that Bitcoin was a thin air, like Liz Warren, now holds almost $1 billion worth of it. We are truly living in the fourth turning. So how'd we get here? Trump owns 41% of Trump Media. That's the company behind Truth Social. Earlier this year, they raised over $2.3 billion and then dropped $2 billion of that right into Bitcoin. Boom! Suddenly, the president of the United States is one of the largest indirect Bitcoin holders on the planet. And get this, Trump Media's balance sheet now holds more Bitcoin than multiple publicly traded companies combined. He basically copied the Saylor playbook. Turn your company into a Bitcoin treasury and ride the orange wave. You know how the Colonel lived so that we could chicken? Well, Saylor walked so Donald could moonwalk into Bitcoin Valhalla. This is wild because Trump's not just a holder. He's now financially incentivized to make Bitcoin succeed. Same with Larry. And sure enough, the Genius Act, executive actions, and Bitcoin's superpower and crypto capital of the world rhetoric, well, they're all pointing in one direction, toward Bitcoin dominance. So think about it. Larry Fink's calling Bitcoin digital gold. Trump's hoarding nearly $1 billion in it. You don't really need a PhD in macroeconomics to see what's coming next. They're not betting on the dollar. They're betting on Bitcoin. Now we're about to break down the biggest flash crash in Bitcoin history. $20,000 gone in a matter of minutes. What the hell happened? Well, you're about to find out. But before we bring it home and explain the bullishness of the current situation, look at our likes.
3 or 4 times, maybe.
I'm gonna pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Let's take a quick second for our sponsors who keep this show on the air over at the Bitcoin Way. If your wealth lives in their system, it's not yours, it's theirs. That's why we scream Bitcoin. That's why you self-custody. And that's why you call our friends over at the Bitcoin Way. They'll walk you through multi-sig, self-custody, privacy, how to run a node, and the tools that keep you sovereign when the fiat system pulls the plug. Don't wait till it's too late. Book a free 30-minute consult today using that link in the show notes. Need cash but don't want to sell your Bitcoin? Ledn is the global leader in Bitcoin-backed loans, issuing over $9 billion in loans since 2018, and they were the first to offer proof of reserves. With Ledn, you get custody loans, no credit checks, no monthly payments, and more. Visit learn.ledn.io/simply to learn more and get 25 basis points off your first loan. All right, here we go. Now let's talk about what the hell just happened. Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. The total crypto market cap was sitting pretty at 4.1 trillion, flirting with a new record, but by 5:20 p.m., just 8 hours later, we were down to 3.3 trillion. That's 800 billion erased, $100 billion an hour for 8 straight hours. They say money doesn't grow on trees. Well, apparently it evaporates faster than FTX liquidity on a Friday night. And this wasn't just a crash. This was the largest liquidation event in the history of Bitcoin and crypto. Over 1.6 million traders got liquidated. Oh, those poor degenerate souls. 19 billion in leveraged positions wiped out in 24 hours. That's 9 times the previous record. To put it in perspective, this crash was $17 billion bigger than February's meltdown. And are you ready for this? 19 times larger than the March 2020 or FTX collapses. Never seen anything like this. Bitcoin alone recorded a 20,000 cuckbuck daily candle. That's a $380 billion swing in market cap. For comparison, that's more than the entire value of Disney, Coca-Cola, or McDonald's gone and back in a single day. So what triggered this digital apocalypse? Let's walk through the timeline because this looks a lot less random than it seems. At 9:50 a.m., crypto starts to slide. At 10:57 a.m., Trump drops his tariff post. Then at 4:30 p.m., a massive whale loads up short positions, and 20 minutes later, Trump announces a 100% tariff on China. By 5:20 p.m., markets are in full meltdown, and the same whale closes out for a tidy $192 million profit. You're telling me that whale just coincidentally timed the largest crypto liquidation ever within 30 minutes of a presidential announcement? Here's the post-mortem. This wasn't a fundamentals collapse. It was leverage, greed, and thin liquidity. 16.7 billion in longs got liquidated compared to 2.5 billion in shorts. That's almost 7 to 1. Every major exchange except Bitfinex saw 90% plus long positions get blown up. One platform alone, Hyperliquid, accounted for 10.3 billion, the same one our mystery whale used. Bottom line, this was a perfect storm. Too much leverage, too much greed, and one well-timed tariff bomb. But guess what? Bitcoin already recovered. This wasn't the end, it was a reset, a technical correction. The weak hands just got flushed, and the market could be primed for the next leg up. So yeah, the biggest crash in Bitcoin history, and yet Bitcoin's already bouncing back like a cockroach after nuclear war. This is the orange ocean, baby. The storm clears, and the signal stays. They nuked 278 billion in 45 minutes, the biggest flash crash in Bitcoin history, and they still couldn't break 100K. Now, we're less than 5% from pre-crash. All we see is green. And the tariff panic, the odds of 100% tariffs on China just dropped to 11% on Polymarket. So yeah, the market basically panic sold for nothing. The bears are out of honey. And meanwhile, gold's down 84% versus Bitcoin since 2020. Bitcoin is the hurdle rate. If you can't beat it, you buy it. And while everyone else was crying, MicroStrategy bought another 220 Bitcoin, bringing their stack to 640,000 BTC. Fink's in, Trump's in, sailors stacking, shitcoins are in the crapper, and Bitcoin doesn't care. Yesterday's crash wasn't the end, it was the reset. The real bull run, it starts now. Is October back on? Tell us what you think below, and send it! And don't forget to get those tickets to Mining Disrupt 2025. Get those tickets to Mining Disrupt 2025. See the future of Bitcoin mining up close in Dallas, Texas, November 11th through the 13th. The biggest names in the industry. Cutting edge rigs, Bitcoin, and AI integration, the signal you won't get anywhere else. Grab your tickets today and use promo code SimplyBitcoin for 20% off, and we'll see you there. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pamp by sharing this video with some poor bastard who just got liquidated. Those poor degenerate souls. What did we learn from all this? Stay humble, stack sats, and don't forget to set those notifications for the best of Bitcoin news delivered to you daily. Now wait, was that entire massive liquidation? Was it all an inside job? Well, you better check out Dante's video from yesterday, and I'll catch you all next time. Love you guys. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, you.